Welcome back, dear friends. We have now reached the final episode of our series on how to polish our presence. If life has taught us anything, it's that self-development isn't about earning a certificate and moving on. It's about integrating knowledge so deeply that it becomes part of our nature. We become what we learn about. In machine learning, this process of embodiment is beautifully mirrored in the transition from model development to deployment. The first step is adapting the model into a usable format. In life, this corresponds to our demeanor, our posture, movement, and the atmosphere we inspire through our presence. Our goal is to radiate symbolic ease. To refine posture, practice a brief daily ritual. Stand before a mirror for 3 minutes, open your shoulders, and relax your jaw. To train your body into calm and stillness, complement or even replace your workouts with somatic disciplines such as Pilates, Feldenkrais, or the Alexander technique. In ML, after exporting a model into a usable format, developers wrap it into an API, teaching it to communicate, accepting requests and returning predictions. In real life, that translates to responding with grace instead of reactivity. API work with the following parameters. /predict, the endpoint or receiver. This reflects our personal vision of grace. From how we network in formal settings to how we express honesty in intimate relationships, without sharpness or haste. Post, sending data in the request body. This is our warmth in tone, punctuality, and consideration for others' pace, our embodied courtesy. Features, the input keys, defining predictions. Features remind us of integrity, the courage to express our values authentically, even at the risk of being misunderstood. Before deployment, a model is placed within a container, a safe habitat that allows it to run anywhere. This Docker container includes the API, the model, and its dependencies. The API is our mission statement, the purpose and inspiration we commit to share with the world. The model is our everyday behavior. The dependencies are our moral compass, the principles we never compromise, and the obligations that shape our conduct. When deployed, the container is pushed to a cloud service. The service name reflects our motivation, the catalyst behind our actions, for example, the desire to build friendships. The region corresponds to the area of life we're addressing. Scaling teaches us to balance courtesy with authenticity. Environment variables remind us to adapt to context without losing alignment. Once deployed, a model must be monitored and scaled. We track requests, errors, and latency, just as we must track our tone, energy, and emotional responses. CPU usage represents reliability versus energy consumption, an analogy for moral coherence versus performative effort. Response time reflects the pause before we speak. Time, after all, is the ultimate display of confidence. Speak as though you have nowhere else to be. Prediction distribution brings us back to our earlier lessons on overfitting and underfitting. We aim to stay authentic, yet open to new perspectives. Auto-scaling ensures smooth functioning during spikes in demand. Likewise, no matter how new the environment or how impressive the company, our presence should remain steady, anchored in alignment, not aspiration. Even after deployment, models must be versioned and updated. In the same way, polishing our presence means refining our sensitivity to the codes of high-context environments. True refinement isn't about projecting elitism, but about understanding symbolism and heritage, the meaning behind the customs, aesthetics, and traditions we encounter. This requires continual exposure to new places, reading deeply, and engaging in meaningful conversations. Polishing our presence is not a time-bound task, but a lifelong journey, a commitment to honoring ourselves through a refined regimen of habits and influences. If we were to express this commitment as an ML framework, our life would be structured as a pipeline, a workflow where repetitive tasks are automated to ensure consistency. Typical stages include data collection, pre-processing, feature engineering, transformation, training, testing, hyperparameter tuning, class balancing, evaluation, deployment, and monitoring. Automation reduces error and increases efficiency, just as good habits automate refinement in daily life. So, what can we automate? Our inputs. What we read, watch, and listen to daily subtly shapes our mind. For broadening cultural literacy, explore Monocle or How to Spend It. They illuminate the semiotics of refined contexts. To strengthen attention and nuance, read The New Yorker, The Atlantic, or the London Review of Books. Their syntax and depth stretch our comprehension and improve listening. For conversational grace, The Art of Civilized Conversation by Margaret Shepard is an excellent guide. Still, tasks requiring discernment, like feature engineering or metric selection, must remain under human oversight. Likewise, choices about what moves us or what causes we support should stem from intuition and sincerity. Nothing bonds people more deeply than shared meaning. Since this is our last episode, let's revisit the variables through which Pierre Bourdieu differentiated the affluent from the working class families. Language, accents, vocabulary, and references act as unconscious signals of class and education. Media consumption shapes political and cultural orientation. Music taste, once divided into popular and legitimate, but today, refinement means receptivity, curiosity toward other genres and sounds of the past. Leisure, time-rich pursuits like sports or arts signal autonomy, as opposed to passive consumption like television. Travel should serve not only relaxation, but immersion in knowledge. Dining, the notion of acquired taste, reflects one's capacity for nuance and appreciation. Art, valuing non-functional beauty, is learned, not innate. Education, among the affluent, learning is cultivated as an end in itself, not merely a means to a job. And of course, appearance matters. Posture, skincare, and dental work all reflect care and discernment. The old money aesthetic we see on social media carries truth. Good taste reveals itself through restraint and quality, not display. Finally, our home, often unseen by outsiders, should reflect authenticity and alignment. Decor is not performance. It's a symbolic extension of self-image, a sanctuary that mirrors our inner order. Polishing our presence, dear friends, is not about perfection. It is about coherence, between the life we live and the values we embody, between refinement and warmth, between intellect and grace.